Well, Jose,
Mm-hmm.
it is the night before Thanksgiving. Are you ready
For what?
for what I have planned for us?
What?
We are going to be building rabbit cages. So my order came in from Bass Equipment today. I'm very excited. I have worked with Bass Equipment in the past, and I love their cages. The funny thing is, Juanita, that I used to talk to several years ago when I ordered my cages, still is working for Bass. And when she called me on the phone, I love the sound of her voice. So it was really nice. But I want to talk today a little bit about what I ordered and we're going to show you about putting together the cages, because you can make your own cages, which is great, but if you are stacking your cages and you want a complete setup, these cages are my absolute favorite. What I ordered was 6 36 by 30 cages. Those are the cages I use for my breeding does. I get the wire saver at the bottom. This is the baby saver wire you see down here at the bottom. This is just to keep your little babies from crawling out of here. Sometimes the mom gives birth to the baby on the wire on accident, and this just helps save them from getting down on the floor. A lot of breeders will tell you they found babies on the floor. Bass also puts this support bar down the center. When you have a span like this with the 36 by 30 cages, it really helps to have this wire in the bottom to keep your cage from sagging in the middle. I do the upgraded wire on the bottom. Instead of a 14 gauge, I do a 12 gauge. And the reason for that is it's easier on the rabbit's feet. Then I ordered 3 30 by 30 cages, which are for my does that aren't currently breeding. And then we built that big hutch out there. That's for my breeding bucks. And usually they go outside. Why? Because your breeding bucks, they like to do this little thing called spraying. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the waterers I like to order. Now these waterers, I see a lot of people complaining about them, but I'm going to tell you, if you're not dealing with freezing temperatures, these are the best waterers. But what I like about these is the flip tops like this, and you can pour the water right in the top. These are the 32 ounce. These will usually last at least 24 hours, unless you've got a doe with kits. Then they'll be going through this a lot faster. One complaint about these waterers is that they leak a lot. But I'm going to tell you why that happens. It's because your washer in here or your gasket in here has something in it, or you have no gasket in here. So when you're washing your water bottles or putting your water bottles together, you want to make sure your gasket is in here, and you want to make sure it's free of debris. If it isn't screwed on tightly, if it has debris on it, these will definitely leak. But if you can get these to work correctly, they're the easiest water bottle to use, in my opinion. So if you have a leaking problem, check your gaskets. Now, I will tell you, if your rabbit is not used to drinking out of these, it can take them a while to learn how to do it. They have to learn to bite the little barb that's in here. If they don't do that, they won't be able to drink out of this. So you want to keep an eye on your rabbits. But something you can do is put a little bit of honey on here to encourage them to play with it and learn to drink out of it. Then I like these feeders. I don't usually order, I think these are the wide mouth. I don't usually order the wide mouth, but it's really hard to get stock right now. A lot of things are out. I wanted 7.5 or 5.5 inch for my bigger cages. They didn't have those in stock, so I got all 3.5 inch. These are the wide mouth, and they have the mesh at the bottom, which allows the fines to drip through, which your rabbits won't usually touch. So these are nice feeders. The other thing is, you definitely want to get lids with your feeders. And I'm going to tell you, if you're stacking your cages, the reason for that is if the rabbit above pees onto this,
much better.
Yeah, you want the food covered. Or sometimes they spill their water down onto these feeders. So you want a lid on them. I really like to have a lid. They just sit on here and flip up. Installing these Finex feeders is really easy. I like to install on the front of my cage. If you have access to the back of your cage or the sides, you can install these anywhere. But think about it before you install it, because you're going to be cutting your wire. These, extremely important. If you go to a regular hardware store, you can't really find these. These are flush cut wire cutters. They cut flush against the wire. The reason I really like these is it helps to eliminate sharp edges.
Nice.
Bass Equipment carries these. So we're just going to cut at the bottom right against this bottom wire here. We're going to go 1, 2, and 3 to put this feeder in. All right, and so 1, 2, Okay, then this just gets slid into here like so. Okay, and then these handy dandy little things come down over like so. If I can get it. Okay, right? So now this is installed and this little lid just folds up here and you can put food in. So these are triple stack cages, meaning there will be 3 cages stacked one on top of the other. What I like about Bass Equipment is they include the wheels.
Ooh.
So if you have your cages set up anywhere where you can wheel them around, this is the way to go because you can easily move around all of your cages. And I really like to move my cages around, especially when I'm cleaning. Okay, put the toys in. So these wheels slid on really nice. It's got a tab here. It's got tabs on this side. And then they just sent us a little washer and a nut. And it's going to go right in here. These are just resting mats that go in a cage. I ordered one for each cage. Sometimes if the rabbit seems to be struggling with their feet, they can get sores on their feet. I might put more of these in. But they're not a requirement. These are the J-clip pliers to put the J-clips on the cages, and I will show you. These are a great way to put together your cages. Okay, so this is a J-clip, and they're these neat little metal brackets that just hold the cage together. This is the J-clip plier, and to do the J-clips, you just slide this little thing into here, open the pliers up wide enough, and you can see how it's holding the J-clip in there. And then you bring it down here to the cage where you want to clip it. Okay, and then you just squeeze those pliers like so. And as you can see, it nicely clips that piece of metal right there onto the J-clip, and now your cage is held together. And then we got a whole box full of these legs. These are the legs for stacking your cages one on top of another. Wow. Yep, and these are really nice. I like these. Generally, you don't have to take your cages apart. I like to clean mine maybe twice a year where I fully take them apart and power wash everything. But these are really nice. They stack on top of each other and makes it super easy to keep a lot of rabbits in a smaller space. One of the biggest pains about these bass cages is attaching these legs. And if you've never done it, it can be a little bit overwhelming. So I'm just going to show you how I do it. You get the legs like this, all right? And you get 2 brackets down here to hold the bottom of your cage. What I like to do, where's the thing that was sitting here? This second set of brackets is never turned out enough to get it around the wire. I don't care how hard you work on it. I would rather bend these than bend the wire on my cages. So what I do is I take a Phillips head, no, is this what?
Yeah,
flat head screwdriver. This is my first rodeo. And I like to bend these out a little bit. So you just take it like that and bend out one, switch it around, and you just slide this in there like so, and bend it a little bit. And then that's gonna make putting this together a ton easier. Now to slide these legs in place, see these J-clips on the corner, you wanna slide them all the way to the edge, the one on the bottom and the one on the top, like that, okay? And then you're gonna put this leg, slide it around this first bar on the cage. You see it's got a slot here to go around the bars. Okay, now I think I got it. Yeah, okay, so then you wanna take a hammer. So you will see the bars are inside of all of these. No, look on top. Okay, see the bars are coming up through these. And then I just take a hammer and tap the foot a little bit. And slide it up in. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get inside the cage and I'm going to hammer these ones flat that I bent out. So now I just take my hammer and these ones that I bent out, I just hammer them a little bit. Get them flat in there, and then these 2 up here. Okay. These are the sliders for the droppings pans. So we just slide those. It's got little hooks, one there, one here. Those go on really easy. We got one for the other side. All right, and 1 and 2. So the dropping pan then slides in here nice and easy, like so. The urine guards are really nice. They keep your rabbits from urinating outside of the cage and keep the urine down in the pan. These also come in handy though if you're not using the baby saver wire. And the baby saver wire is just to keep your babies from crawling out of the wire, which can happen, and I've had happen. These can replace that so your babies can't get out of the 1" by 2" wire that's usually on the side. So before I get too far, I want to talk quickly about putting the front door on these cages. This is the one you might get backwards or put on upside down or not do correctly, so you just want to make sure you do this right. The door should be set up on the bottom of the cage like this. It has this bracket on it and should open up and in. Why up and in? Because Bass supplies these handy dandy cage hangers right here that hang from the top of your cage, and when you push the door in and hold it, it holds it open for you, which when you have rabbits is really smart.
Okay.
Whew, all right.
Okay.
Jose, are you ready to build?
Yeah, sure.
You think so? Okay. Jose, isn't this how you always wanted to spend Thanksgiving Eve? What? I think we're going to start with some 36 by 30 cages. The reason for that is because I have some does all shoved in the same cages out there because we went from 0 rabbits to 10 rabbits with only 6 holes. And if you don't know what a hole is, that's basically a rabbit cage. So we have 6 cages, 10 rabbits. The math there doesn't quite work, does it? So we'll start with the 36 by 30 cages and then move on to the 30 by 30 cages. So we have 9 cages to build. Jose, are you ready to see how many cages we can build the night before Thanksgiving?
Maybe 1, 2.